Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I'm going to be talking about a real glow up. And I'm not trying to use myself as an example here, trust me. And this idea came to me as I was watching a video from a lady with very different content than mine called Hannah Alonso. I do follow her. I've been following her for at least a good year. Was watching one of her videos where it was more about influencers like TikTok and such, and how they're, a lot of them are, trying to get people into a lot of beauty products and stuff that they really don't need, high-end stuff that influencer probably doesn't even use. And in the middle of her video, she stopped and gave some of her ideas on what she would promote as a glow up. And I loved that idea. And I thought, you know what? I think my followers would really appreciate this. So I came up with 5 tips of my own on a real glow up. And some of you are probably even wondering, what the heck is a glow up to begin with? Well, typically it refers to, making yourself absolutely astonishingly beautiful by using a bunch of products. And you know what? A glow up doesn't have to be about that. It does not have to be about the outer appearance. In fact, I think a real glow up comes from inside, and that will then show on the outside. And I know for me, I have a lot of areas I could definitely do better on. And so my list of 5 plus a bonus one is based on that. So number 1, and this is one I try to work on every single day, is learning how to be grateful for the blessings that we have in our life, no matter how we're feeling at the moment, no matter our frustration level over maybe not having this or this not working right. Remember those good things that you have in your life, whether it be your loved ones, the fact that you have a roof over your head, you're staying warm and dry, or if you're watching this in midsummer, you're staying cool and dry. The fact that maybe you have a few things in food storage to get you through a couple of days or a week or a few months or even years of hard times, whatever it is, learning how to be grateful. And obviously, if you're a believer, then thanking God for the blessings that He's given you in your life. But you don't have to be a believer to be grateful for what you have. And I think as we put our focus on what we do have and what we're grateful for, that can really change our mood. And that's, again, going to show in the way that we interact with others. Number 2. Now, this is one I definitely could use more work on, at least when it comes to dealing with the haters I get from time to time on YouTube. Now, a lot of times I simply delete comments because I know that if I don't delete that comment, my flesh will take over and I'll say something really rude. And sometimes I just respond thinking I'm totally justified in what I said, and some people would support me in that. But I've really felt a little convicted about some of my more recent responses, even though they were only like for like. It still wasn't right, because here's the thing. Sometimes people just making a statement like, oh, you talk too much or whatever. Sometimes people are just having a bad day, just like me, just like any of us. We can all have a bad day. We can have a dark day, and we're frustrated and we're impatient because of everything that's going on in our lives right now. And then we're trying to get to the point of a video, and that person isn't talking immediately about the point that person that they wanted to hear about, so they just comment out of frustration. And they may be wrong, yes, but I have to remember I have days like that too. And if a person comes in and makes a comment like that while I'm having a day like that, I'm going to be more apt to respond in kind. Well, the problem with that is even if we feel justified and maybe even like, I got one over on them, that's really not a loving, kind way to deal with people, especially when we have no idea what they're personally going through. And so we have to remember Everybody has something that they're dealing with in their life, and learning how to be more loving and more patient and more kind, even when we think they don't deserve it, that can really go a long way in not only changing ourselves and giving us a glow up from the inside out, but also maybe helping that person. If we can show kindness in response to rudeness, that might help brighten that person's day and help them get through whatever hard time they're having. Like I said, that is definitely something I need to keep improving on, because I'm not always the best at that. Sometimes, yes, my fleshly nature just wants to respond and dig back at people, when that it really isn't the right way to go about it, especially if we're believers and we're trying to set an example of Christ's love. That's not the best way to go about it. Now, the next thing is that we should be willing to show acts of kindness to people without feeling the need to post publicly about it, whether it be we're shooting videos about it or we're making some public claim like, oh, I just did this for so-and-so, or here's this thing I made for so-and-so. And I've been guilty of that in the past. Like one time, our mail lady, who had been our mail lady for quite some time, I just wanted to show appreciation to her. So I made her some gifts and stuck them in the mailbox with a note, and then I posted about it. And then I got to, I look back at those moments like that, and it's like, you know what? I didn't need to post about it. Doing what I did was a good thing, hoping to lift somebody's mood, hoping to show kindness, and just maybe she's even having a bad day, and here's some little bright spot in her day. But to post about it, then I'm bringing the glory back to myself. And I'm trying to make a spotlight of myself. Whether that was initially my intentions or not, it still is going to do that. And it is actually rather selfish. And it's so much better if we can do good things for people and we can feel good about ourselves. That's fine. But to brag about it, that doesn't actually make us look all that great. Now, some people might go, oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. Which was part of my reason for posting about it, is, oh, I should do more of this. But the thing is, if we're making a public display out of it, like a lot of times you'll see people, I always wonder about this, where they're showing, maybe they have somebody doing the video while they're going up and giving things to homeless people. I mean, that's neat that they're doing that. But how do I know that this person isn't doing all this just for fame, just for clicks, just for money? That to me doesn't actually set a really good example. And maybe some of those people don't want to be on video and they don't want their face out there. So it's not even really that respectful of the person when we do that. So it's so much better if we can just be willing to do good acts for people without feeling the need to have to seek fame, glory, praise from other people. We know inside, and if we're believers, we know that the Lord saw, and that is what matters. And what matters most, though, is that person that you're reaching by doing those kind acts for them. Just like in my last point about responding to rudeness with kindness. And if you absolutely have to, maybe just ignore it. Like I've been, that's the other thing I try to do. So point number 4, and this is again another one I definitely need work on, and that is just being a better listener. And I have been trying to work on being a better listener, but oftentimes what happens is we become so self-absorbed in our own problems and wanting to talk about them with other people that then when somebody else is talking to us and they're needing to get something off their chest or just share what they're going through, and then we end up spending the whole time they're talking thinking about our own problems or thinking about, oh, I can come back and share this with them. And that's not how it should be. We should just simply be listening to what they have to say. What we should be thinking about while they're talking is either A, praying for them, or B, thinking about what are the right words of wisdom that I can offer this person, or do they even need a response? Maybe all they need is someone to simply listen, and that's it. You don't have to have a response for everything. I know I'm guilty of that, feeling like I've got to always have a response for everything anyone says. So my sister and I are on Marco Polo. I don't know if you guys have that. She's the only one I talk to on there. And I will say that one thing about Marco Polo, it's nice having a live interaction, where you can talk back and forth. But Marco Polo forces you to actually just listen, because you can't interrupt the person. You just have to listen. And that's one of the things that my sister and I have learned about this, is that we listen, but then we have to try to remember everything we said if they ask questions and whatnot, and we want to address that. So sometimes it might be a good idea to take notes. But regardless, it helps us to listen more closely and think better about any kind of good response we might have, if a response is even needed. And so I think, yes, it's been a good practice for us. And it's funny because she said that she brought that up to me first. That one thing about Marco Polo is it's really teaching me how to be a better listener. I'm like, yes, I've noticed this too. So you don't have to have Marco Polo, though, to be more intentional about the way you interact with people and listen to them. Point number 5, which is one of the ones that Hannah brought up in her points, is look at learning a new skill or bettering one that you already have. This can also be a way to divert your thoughts of being totally self-absorbed in your own issues or whatever's bothering you to, you know what, I'm going to take this time to learn to do something else, something new, or to better something that I'm already doing that maybe I need improvement on anyway. Or let's say you already crochet or sew. Try learning some new stitches or a new project that you've never done before. It can be anything like that. It could be something you're cooking or baking, whatever. Maybe it's a dish you've never made, and you're like, I would really like to do this. And read about it, watch people's various different videos about it, and then come up with your own idea so you can make it yours. And that's another way to just make yourself a better person. That's another way that you can give yourself a good glow up all the way around. You're becoming more skilled. You're becoming a better people person as well. And learning how to appreciate what you already have. This is all of this in a nutshell, really. But I have one more bonus point I wanted to bring up. And that goes hand in hand with several of the points I've already made. So when we have those moments where we're just so depressed. We all get them. It doesn't mean we're going through clinical depression. We're just going to have bad days. Maybe it's because of when you live where we do. And it's that time of year where you're getting a constant rain, which means constant mud, and you can't get out and work in the gardens, and you really need to, and whatever it may be, or you've got some kind of family crisis you're going through that just is really weighing heavily on you. And even if you have very good reason to feel angry or depressed or frustrated or sad, sometimes the best thing that we can do is start thinking of others. Start going back to some of these other points that I already listed. Pray for someone that you know needs prayer. Do a kind act for someone that you know could really appreciate it and could use that little boost. Call somebody. Send an encouraging message to someone. It can just be something like, hey, just thinking of you today. Hope you're having a great day. And keep it simple. It doesn't have to be this long-winded whatever. It can just be a simple message that you send to someone that maybe they just really needed that. I have a lot of times, I always find it happens at the times that I'm feeling most frustrated over my channel and the way some people have just been cruel to me and said some really mean things. And it seems like right about that same time, I'll have somebody who reaches out and sends me an email just to say thank you and how much they appreciate what I do And it's like, wow, I really needed that because I was just feeling really down, really hurt, really kind of useless and pointless, wondering if I should keep doing what I'm doing. And this person reached out to me. Sometimes I might even get 2 or 3 right about that same time when I need it most. So when we can take our own hard times, and instead of turning everything inward and just, kind of sulking in our self-pity, turn that outward and start thinking who else might be having a hard time that could really use an encouraging word, or just wanted somebody to say hi to them. Even that stranger that you walk by in the store, just say, compliment them on something they're wearing or doing or whatever, or just say hi and smile at them, or maybe even just smile at them. Turning those things outward can not only help another person, it's also going to reflect back on you, and you're going to realize, wow, they smile back. Wow, I feel better. I don't feel quite so dark and gloomy right now. It's really amazing what your own act of kindness, without seeking the praise of men, can do for your own mental, spiritual, and even physical health. So to me, these points here are just some of the points of what a real glow up should be about. And I would really like to hear from you as well. So please share in comments down below a point or two, or of what do you think would be some really good things to add to a list like this about what a real glow up should look like. And this applies to men and women. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you're interested in Hannah's channel, I'll go ahead and link to it down below. Some of you may like it. You might be interested in some of the things she has to say. Oh yes, and I'll also link to my playlist on videos of encouragement. I think a lot of you would appreciate that as well. So that will be found in the description box down below. Don't forget to click on more or show more somewhere down here below the video screen to open the description box. Find those links and many others that I always have in there. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.